achieved something. So this is very little. This is not big idealism. It's a very apolitical thing.
Just no question about it. The Constitution of the United States, Article 1, Section 8, makes it abundantly clear that no president can go to war unilaterally without the permission of the Congress. This lawsuit also is challenging a policy that permits the president to commit the United States to a war under the authority of NATO. Similarly, we're challenging policies that would allow the United States to be committed to war under the authority of the United Nations. What we are saying in both cases is that it is necessary to come to Congress, and that neither NATO nor the UN trumps the United States Constitution. We're also saying that, raising the question of where the money's coming from. So this bill is about the Constitution. It's also about the cost. Where's the money coming from, and how much does it cost? This is a very important moment. This is a solemn moment. We are intending, through our presence and through this lawsuit, to correct an imbalance which exists today. There has not been any attempt by this administration to ask for the permission of Congress. This is about stopping a war now. This is not an academic question. This relates to the primacy of the Constitution in the affairs of our nation. This relates to Congress's position as a co-equal branch of government, and whether or not, when the founders, in creating Article 1, in fact, making Congress first among equals, intended to separate the war power that now is being claimed and essentially arrogated to the President under Article 2. So this is a serious constitutional issue which has an immediate impact on the events that are happening right now. Well, look, we're at war. There's already been $750 million spent. The fact of whether there's boots on the ground or not doesn't really get into the question of whether or not the President had the ability in the first place to send U.S. military assets abroad to participate in or initiate a war. And so that's really, there's a constitutional issue here. And it can't be danced around at all. And we're not going to, our presence here is an affirmation that we're not letting that issue be danced around. This is a serious, solemn, constitutional issue which we're here in front of a courthouse for the express purposes of being here on behalf of 10 members of Congress who are solidly behind this, and many more who I think would be willing to support it, but we move forward quickly to finally get this.
The Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives has asked President Obama to explain the legal grounds for continuing the mission in Libya beyond a 90-day limit. After Sunday, the U.S.
These are M16 or M4?
Keine ganz süße.
Which way is Qatar?
We believe France still supplies weapons to the rebels, and today the Libyan rebels whom we captured in these two boats admitted that the whole operation was carried out with the coordination between them, the Qatari army, and NATO ships in the Mediterranean Sea.
The Russian head envoy to NATO says, yes, the ground invasion is on for September, October. The Israeli publications are saying the special forces are going in this month, and then in the next 2 months, full ground invasion. Exactly what I got from Fort Hood and I got letters from Hood and calls on air when I ask military listeners about it, and since a bunch of other contacts have come into us, that if Gaddafi doesn't fall, they can't assassinate him with these bombs. They now admit they are trying to kill him. If that peace action fails, that a larger peace action of the first Cav under 3 Corps is going to have to bring more peace and more love and more humanitarian assistance to Libya. And I saw a video that we aired live when Tarpley was on with us last Friday. At first it looked like 200,000. Then they pulled out. It had to be 500,000 or more. He reported grenade launchers on the street, almost everyone with AK-47s. Now it's upwards of 2 million Kalashnikovs handed out, 1 million RPGs, rocket-propelled grenades for folks that don't know what that is. I mean, if just 5% of those people actually aim at a target and shoot, this is going to be hell on earth for the NATO troops. But the man of peace, though, is dedicated to bringing them peace there.
You know, and the whole thing is strictly illegal. It's a war crime. What the United States is doing, what NATO's doing, these are exactly what the Nazis were executed for after the Nuremberg trials. This is naked aggression. It's a war crime. And they can't even claim the cover of the UN resolution because all the UN agreed to was a no-fly zone. And no-fly doesn't mean to attack the Gaddafi people or to intervene militarily in order to overthrow him. That is not what they had any cover for. So, and the whole world just stands and takes it. And it's obviously illegal. It's a war crime. It's an amazing thing, just like everything else that happens. It's all amazing.
Dr. Roberts, why are you against peace? But, I mean, this is a Nobel Peace Laureate who lied and said they'd be their days, not weeks, who lied and said they weren't trying to kill Gaddafi, and now NATO and the top U.S. general admit to Congress they are trying to kill him. I mean, why is lying about a war, lying about how long you're there, breaking international law and national law, trying to assassinate people, arming known al-Qaeda in the East, why are you against something as wonderful? Sir, why are you so hateful?
Yeah. Well, you know, Alex, we've lost the law. There's no rule of law left. The government is not accountable to law. I mean, Clinton wasn't for Serbia. This really accelerated under Bush Cheney, and now Obama has validated it, you know, because the Obama administration has ruled that there will be no accountability for any of the crimes of the Bush administration, you know, the torture, the illegal detentions.
That was peace as well. Come on, don't be a conspiracy theory.
Oh, sure, that was all. See, what, you know, peace, what it means, I suppose, is war is peace.
Now, that's more like it. Hey, you're starting to be a little bit more sensible.
War is peace, and we're going to have a lot of peace.
and Dr. Roberts, they've told us that the economy is been out of recession for 2 years as all the jobless numbers increase, and as a lot of economists say we're in a depression, but they say war is peace, and they say this is a crackerjack economy.
Right.
And who are you as a Forbes-listed, you know, top economist? Who are you to have an opinion? If you have an opinion differing from the ruling class, you're a conspiracy theorist.
That's exactly the case. That's what I wrote not long ago. Conspiracy theorist is anyone who pays any attention to facts or analysis. And but, you know, we can laugh, but it is really serious. It should be frightening to see the United States government, which poses as the light of the world, you know, the model of the rule of law, bringing democracy and freedom, and
almost flat out of time, and I got a few more questions for Dr. Paul Craig Roberts. But Dr. Roberts, I don't know how much you watched the news this weekend. I barely even paid attention. And there was a full-out assault. Kurt Nemo's got a report about it today. But there was a full-out assault on the Constitution that was outmoded, old, bad. But the Constitution is new ideas. The stuff that the establishment's bringing in is regurgitated ancient tyranny. I mean, the classic forms of tyranny. Human nature stays the same. What do you make of the system coming out of the closet and saying, get rid of the Constitution and you will be delivered to Valhalla?
Well, they've already gotten rid of it, and we now have a Caesar. And whoever the president is, he's now a Caesar, as long as he's at war. So, and it's up to the president whether or not we're at war. So we have a Caesar. We don't have a representative democracy, and there's no rule of law. Whatever the president does or says is what happens. And there's no check on that, neither from the courts nor from the Congress. And it doesn't matter who we elect, because that's just a facade. The person in the office is a Caesar. So whoever's there has the power of a Caesar, and that's what we have. You know, like we're at war in Libya without the War Powers Act.
We're at peace with Libya.
Well, in all sense, we're at peace because war is peace. But
don't be an extremist here, sir. Don't engage in critical thinking. I mean, conspiracy theory.
You know, my book, The Tyranny of Good Intentions, which came out 11 years ago, I concluded it by saying the Constitution was dead and that the country would soon follow unless there was a constitutional revival, and there's not been one. And no one seems to care. The law schools don't care, the bar associations, nothing happens. So we have acquiesced to a Caesar. I don't think there's any going back. And now the question is, will the economy collapse out from under them? And it could well do, but it may be why we're having all these wars, that what they may be trying to do is to secure control over oil so that the dollar remains the reserve currency and everyone in the world has to continue to pay dollars for oil and therefore use dollars to fund our debt. So it may well be that how they're trying to avert economic collapse is by war in the Middle East and war on the oil-producing regions. So that may be what's going on.
Now, your newest book is War of the Worlds, How the Economy Was Lost, available all over the web, Amazon.com, and also at the bottom of the articles you write at Infowars.com. I have a link to it as well. Dr. Paul Craig Roberts, thank you for joining us for some critical thinking, some common sense historical perspective, and also an economic look as the former head of policy at the Treasury. But again, the fact that you have an opinion on the economy is a conspiracy theory because your opinion differs from that of Obama that tells us everything is fine. God bless you all. See you back tomorrow, 11 a.m.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.